this is a good one too. And this is, I think this question is helpful because I know for sure it's a lot easier to see the shame playing out in someone else's life than it is for mine. If we see shame in someone else's life that's manifesting in a way that's hurting them or keeping them or limiting them from something, like group member, spouse, can we help? Or is it better to just let them figure that out on their own? What's our role in that?
I think you can help, and by sometimes just creating an atmosphere of safety, and sometimes we create atmospheres of safety by our own vulnerability. So again, just focusing on our own journey about some of the things maybe we're embarrassed about, or some of the things that we felt shame over in our life. Again, it's all about timing and the right way to say it, and when to say it, and how to say it. But I just think about authenticity and vulnerability, just even about this is what I'm feeling today, and I'm feeling angry, overwhelmed, insecure. So I think if you model that kind of atmosphere as a human being in your group or in your marriage or in your with your kids, I think that itself is a great way to open the door, because then they would perceive, oh, Dad or Rodney or my group leader, boy, he was real honest about his challenges of being a parent. And so that was really, eye-opening just to hear him say that. And so maybe you're offering a pathway for someone else to walk down.
Yeah, I think when we're feeling maybe stuck in some shame, if we think about what's the kind of person I want to go to, who would I like to share that with, who do I feel would be present with me, carry a burden, not criticize or make light of, but just be in it with me. And then to kind of turn that to say, well, how can I be that for someone else? How can I be the kind of person that when they're ready, they know I'm safe? And that may be saying something of just like, hey, it seems like you're wrestling with some stuff, and I just want you to know whatever it is, I'm here, would love to support you, care about you. And I think the more we know someone, when it's a spouse or a close friend, we may have a pretty good idea of what some of their shame messages are. And to be able to maybe with curiosity bring up like, hey, I'm wondering if what just transpired made you feel like you're not being heard or your voice doesn't matter, because I know, and without saying that to them, because I know that's what you really struggle with.
Exactly.
I know that is one of their shame messages.
Right.
So it's maybe putting into words what they're not ready to in a way that just says, how can I help? What can I do? Or if I'm the one that maybe created it, say I'm sorry if I created a sense that your opinion didn't matter just then.
Yeah.
I know that's not what I want you to feel. Or those sorts of things.
Right.
So just asking again, what do I want when I'm feeling that?
Yeah.
And then how could I be that for someone else?
This just played out, and I don't think she'd be embarrassed if I share this. And if you are, when you listen to this,
we'll just call her Betty.
Text me, babe. But my wife just started a nonprofit.
We better not call his wife Betty.
Yeah, we better not
that's
do that.
true.
He got specific about who it is, so
Betty.
too late.
Nope. Amy, I love you. So she started a nonprofit that is creating these like larger than life portrait sessions for critically ill kids. And it's this beautiful heart that she has. The Lord's done amazing stuff already. She just did her second shoot not that long ago. And I think it was the day after the shoot. They'd brought in like mini horses, and they'd brought in this rodeo, and they did it. It was amazing what they put together. And the family is just like over the moon.
Yeah.
The mom and dad are just so pumped. The girl had a great time. She didn't love the mini horses as much, but she had a great time. But Amy was beating herself up, and I could tell. And I did just that. I was just like, what is it about like this? Tell me, what's going on? She's like, I just don't really like the pictures. They didn't end up the way I wanted them to. The coloring was bad. And, she gets into the technical stuff. I'm not that smart with that stuff. But, and then I asked a question, sort of a leading question. It was like, well, how did they like them? And it was one of those questions that I was kind of putting the bumper lanes kind of in a certain direction. And that question helped her like identify and hear herself say, they loved it. Which, and then we ended up talking about that's why she's doing this ministry is for that experience with the family, not so that she'll like the pictures. And she does that with me too. Like this is a two-way street, but I think that's just a practical application of asking those questions to try to navigate that. I wish I did that as well and as often as I'd like, but I don't.
Well, and I think, for me, just if your gift is encouragement, I always like to see the good that I see in other people and call it out. Because sometimes when your self-talk, Nick, is negative, I know that because I have that self-talk that I have to deal with. I can be pretty black and white. So just someone saying, hey, I see what you're doing and what you bring to the table, our family, our marriage, this work organization, whatever it may be, you make our group a better group because you show up here. I think just that voice of encouragement sometimes is just great to hear of like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's all I need. You
Yeah.
know, it's just that little voice of
Yeah.
encouragement. So that's just a small way for me
Yeah.
of trying to combat those voices of shame in people.
Yep, reminding people in any way we can, they don't have to be perfect to be loved, to get our love,
No.
that we're people in process too. I think as you mentioned, that kind of that modeling of, hey, I deal with stuff, I know what that feels like, and I'm here when you need an ear.
Mhm.
That can be so valuable.